Hi dear friends, happy to get back to you again in this lockdown season. Hope all of you are fine and you are up to date with your programming skills. Even if it is not, don't worry. Our first session for this computer science is all to get you refreshed with your basic programming skills with a special focus upon the basic concepts like conditional construct and iteration. So definitely we will be entering into the advanced topics like inheritance, recursion, and data structure. Before that, you must get refreshed with your basic programming skills, and that is what we are going to learn as part of this session. And as you know, mainly the basic programming concepts are sequence, selection, and iteration. As part of this session, we will be mainly focusing upon the selection and as well as the iterative construct of this programming. As part of the selection construct or conditional construct, so mainly we have already learned about the if else, if else if ladder as well as the switch. Therefore, so first we are going to focus upon the if else. I hope you are already knowing this, but this is just to get your memory refreshed. So before proceeding this, so I just wanted to make sure, or I am just taking it for granted that you are already having your basic knowledge in the following fundamental principles of this Java programming, like the basic structure of a Java program, the token, as well as the operators, and definitely the primitive data types as well. If not, just get your previous year notes ready, and after that also you can done. Then I expect that you are having your notebook and writing materials with you right now. If not, just pause this video and get back with your writing material and continue. All right. So as part of this if else, so first we will just go for the syntax of this if else statement. So though you have already learned it, this is as part of this refreshing your memory. As part of this if else process, so as you know already, is the expression followed by the statement 1. Else statement 2. As you know, this expression is a logical expression that always results into true or false. And if this expression is true, statement 1 will be executed, and if this expression is false, statement 2 will be executed. You are already aware of it. And in the same way, there are also if else if ladder about which you are familiar. So the syntax of the if else if ladder is as it is if expression 1, statement 1, else if expression 2, statement 2, and it can go up to any number of expressions and statements. And at last, there is the else part, in which the statement n plus 1 will be executed, and hoping that there are n number of expressions. All right. So this is already something that you have already learned in the previous year, and you are sure about it. And now we just focus upon there is one more conditional construct as part of this, and that is the switch statement, of which also you are aware. Therefore, we are not going to proceed further with this one, as it is only, the purpose is only to refresh your memory. So therefore, you are going to have just 3 homeworks. So just to note down 3 homeworks with this if else and if else if ladder as well as with a switch statement. So your first homework is to use this if else statement, that is just to check whether a number is odd or even. And that program can be done with the help of if and else. So this is a very simple program which you are already familiar with. So that is only to refresh. And the next program will be just to refresh your memory with this if else if ladder. As part of this if else if ladder, note down your next program, and your program using this is to find the commission that is given to a salesman based upon the sale. All right. So these are based upon the following criteria. So these are the sales and plus the commission. And if the sale is 1 lakh or above, so we give a 25% commission. And if the sales are 50,000 or above, we give a commission of 15%. And if it is 10,000 or above, we give a commission of 10%. And if it is below 10,000, we give commission of 5%. So this is your second homework, so which can be done with the help of if else if ladder. All right. And now get ready with your notebook for writing the third homework. And your third homework is just to display a single digit in Word using the switch statement, of which you are already aware of. So these are the 3 homeworks that can be done for making you refresh with your memory as part of this conditional construct. So as part of the conditional construct, so Java provides mainly 3 statements. So if else if ladder, as well as the switch statement. So these 3 homeworks will help you to get your memory refreshed with related to this conditional construct. Now our prime focus will be on the iterative constructs of Java. Iteration in Java. As you are already knowing, these iterative statements in Java are mainly used for making a single statement to be executed repeatedly as long as a specified condition has been satisfied. So that is the main purpose of this iterative construct. And mainly Java provides 3 iterative statements. So for loop, 3 loops are mainly given by Java to create iterative statements as part of your Java program. And they are for loop, while loop, and do while, of which you are already aware. So now we will just have our memory refresh with that one. First, we are going to focus upon the for loop. So as part of the for loop is also used for making a single statement or a group of statements to be executed repeatedly until some specified condition has been satisfied. And now we will just focus upon the syntax of the for loop. In short, for expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3, followed by the loop body. So as you already know, this expression 1 is an initialization expression, whereas expression 2 is a test expression, and expression 3 is an update expression. So which is mainly used for updating the value of the loop control variable. So as long as this test expression is true, so the body of the loop will be executed repeatedly. So since we are already aware about it, we are not going to going further as part of this one. And now we focus upon the syntax of the while loop. And the syntax for the while loop will be while expression loop body. While expression the loop body. So this expression is a logical expression which results into true or false, and this loop body will be executed repeatedly as long as this expression is true. And as you have already noticed, you might see, so in a for loop there are three expressions. So initialization, test expression, and update expression. Whereas in a while loop you see only one expression, which is the test expression. So the initialization expression in a while loop is given before the loop, and the test expression is already here, and the update expression is given as part of the loop body. And now proceeding to the next loop that is given by Java, that is the do while loop. So this is the syntax for the do while loop. Do loop body and while expression followed by a semicolon. And see the difference. Mainly note down the difference with this while loop and this do while. And in the while loop, the test expression, the expression is tested in the beginning of the loop, whereas in a do while, the expression, this test expression is tested only at the end of the loop. And that is also the reason why it is made one is an entry controlled loop, whereas this do while is an exit controlled loop. So in an exit control loop, the loop body will be executed at least once, even if this expression is false. Whereas in an entry controlled loop, this for loop and while loop, they are entry controlled loops. And here, if the expression is false, the loop body will not be executed even once. Whereas in an exit control loop, the loop body will be executed even if the expression is false, at least once. All right. So these are the syntax for the various loops that are being used. Now, since you are already familiar with this loop, now we are going to proceed with some homework for you as part of this for loop. Before going to the homework, we'll just go for a dry run technique about which you are already familiar, but this is very important for understanding any looping statement as part of a Java program. So now we will just go for a for loop with a sample program, and this program will be just for printing the odd numbers from 1 to n, and we will just have this program tested. So closely observe this program and try to find the output of this program, and you can predict the output of this program as we go through. I hope you are already aware about using the functions and the parameters. So here we are accepting one value as a parameter. Now we have the loop control variable here. I equal to 11, I is less than or equal to 21, I plus equal to 2. Now we print the value of I. So let us make it, instead of this 21, since a parameter is already accepted, we will make it n, I less than or equal to n. So it will be flexible for us to give any value for this n, as long as we can test this program also with any sample value. So instead of giving a definite value here. All right. Now let us go through. Let us assume. So for our easy purpose, we are going for a test run. So I hope you are already aware about a test run or a dry run technique. So which is very essential for finding the output of any program. So this is just to get your memory refreshed with this dry run technique as well. So follow me closely. And for any run, so as you know, whenever we declare any variable, definitely a memory space is allocated in the temporary memory of the computer, and that is random access memory. So okay, mainly we have two variables here. One is a parameter, that is n, and the other one is the loop control variable here, that is I. And now we will just keep our computer monitor also ready, just to see the output of this program. And we give a sample value to this n, and let us make this n, the value of this n, 21, let's say. Therefore, first we will see, initialize the value. So here the values are already given only for n, and integer I is already declared, but in this statement no values are given. Now we enter into the loop body. So for I equal to 11, first the initialization expression. And I hope you are already aware about the order in which a looping statement in a for loop will be executed. First of all, the initialization expression will be executed, and it is executed only once, followed by the test expression. And if the test expression is true, the body of the loop will be executed. And after executing the loop body, the control of the program will move to the update expression, and again from the update expression, the test expression will be tested again. Okay, we will see that. First, I equal to 11. So the value of I is already initialized to 11. Okay, so after which the control of the program moves to the next, the test expression, I less than or equal to n, which is true. So the loop body will be executed only if the test expression is true. All right. So since this test expression is true, the control of the program comes to the loop body, which will be executed. The value of I will be printed here, that is 11. After which, after the loop body, again the update expression will be executed, I plus equal to 2. So definitely the value of I will become 30. And as you know, this is already a special shorthand assignment operator. I plus equal to 2 means I equal to I plus 2. Yes. Now, again after the update expression, the test expression will be executed again. I less than or equal to n. Even now, this is true. Since it is true, the body of the loop will be executed, in which the value of I will be printed again, that is 13. And again, it will go to the update expression, and the update expression will increase the value of this I by 2, and thereby again this test expression is true in this case, so the value of I will be printed. Again, the update expression will make the value of the loop control variable to 17, and even with the 17, I less than or equal to n. It is true. So therefore, the body of the loop will be executed, in which the value of the loop control variable will be printed. After which, again, the update expression is executed, and the value of I becomes 19. Even with the 19, this condition is true. Therefore, the value of I will be printed as part of the loop body. Again, as part of the executing the update expression, the loop control variable will be changed to 21, and see here the value of n, the sample value that we have given to n is also 21. So therefore, even now I less than or equal to n, since it is less than or equal to, even now the test expression remains true. Therefore, once again the loop body will be executed, that is 21. Okay. After which again the update expression will be executed even then. Now it becomes 23, and when it becomes 23, this test expression becomes false and the loop terminates. All right. The loop terminates, and if there is any other statement as part of the loop, that will be executed. So that is the main dry run technique that can be used as part of this. So keep closely. I hope this dry run technique is clear to you. This one will be useful to you, as well as you have to remember this for executing even the other program. So having done this, in the same way, you can have different programs and try executing. If you are not familiar much with this dry run technique, definitely try executing the same program with a different sample values for this EM. So that way you will be able to do that. Now get ready to have your homework from this looping statement. Your first homework for this looping statement will be to find the factorial of a number. Write a program, you can note down, write a program to find the factorial of a number. That is your first program. Program to find the factorial of a number. Right. I hope you are already knowing this is a factorial. So the factorial, if you are not sure about the factorial of 5 will be 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So that is the factorial of a number. So this program you have already practiced in the previous years, I hope. So definitely you will be able to do this. As I said earlier, this is mainly to refresh your memory, because in the coming sessions we will be moving to the advanced topics. So before that, I wanted to make sure that you are already comfortable and up to date with your programming skills, especially with the conditional statement and the iterative statement. All right. So your first homework is to find the factorial of a number. Write a program to find the factorial of a number. All right. Now, your second homework so your first homework was the program to find factorial of a number. So the number can be accepted as an argument to a function. And your second homework will be program to calculate the following series. Program to calculate the following series. I hope you are already familiar with the series calculation. If not, don't worry, you will be getting help. Following series. So these are the series: x raised to 2 divided by 3 plus x raised to 3 divided by 4 plus x raised to 4 divided by 5 plus up to any number x raised to n divided by n plus 1. All right. So this series can be calculated even using a loop. So this is your second homework. All right. So this is your second homework. And your third homework will be program to check whether a number is a palindrome or not. Program to check whether a number is a palindrome number or not. I hope you are already aware about the palindrome number. All right. So you are already aware about a palindrome number. A palindrome number is a number that can be read from both sides in the same way. For example, let's say 933. This is a palindrome number since that can be read from both sides as well as, let's go for a 4-digit number. See, this is another palindrome number. So there are many other palindrome numbers of which you are familiar. So this is a palindrome number. So therefore, this is your third homework. And to check whether a number is a palindrome or not, it is necessary for you to have certain skill for reversing a number also. And if you are not familiar with reversing a number, definitely this part will be discussed in the next session. So keep waiting. So try doing this homework. So first of all, what you have to do for doing this homework, and definitely this homework will be solved as part of the next session. So as part of the first session, so our main purpose was to refresh your memory related to the programming concept as well as, so see, mainly there are mainly three programming concepts, that is the sequence, selection and iteration. As part of the selective statements, we have learned about if else, okay, then if else if ladder as well as the switch statement, and then definitely as part of the looping or iterative statement. So you have already learned about the for loop, while loop and do while. So keep doing this program. So definitely these three homeworks will help you to refresh your memory related to using iterative statements in Java. So have a final look at this homework, so which you will be able to do, and even if it's not, don't worry, definitely you'll be getting help in the next session to solve this homework. And as part of the next session, definitely we will be going for the nested looping statements as well. So we will be using this nested statement as part of the next session. So before that, have a final look at the three homework. So try doing this homework before watching the next session, and in the next session this homework will be solved for you, but try doing this program by yourself. All right, so have a final look at this program and wait for the next session in which this homework will be solved for you.